Hey guys, my name is Mandy and today I want to share with you one of my favorite Easy Care houseplants. Now, I know for some of you this video might be a little boring. This is considered a really common houseplant, but at the same time I have been watching a lot of houseplant tours on YouTube, and surprisingly I haven't been seeing this plant as much as I thought I would. So my whole point and my whole goal in making this video is to convince more of you to go out and buy this plant and add it to your collection. And it's particularly a really great plant if you're a beginner, if you're wanting to start a houseplant collection, get into houseplants. This is an awesome plant to start with. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my spider plant. Oh, we can't see it. So there she is. She has a bunch of babies, and it's spring now, so she has been shooting off these little stems. She gets flowers there. Let's see, there's not really, this one's kind of open. So she gets flowers, and then those will turn into more little baby spiders. Let me just show you. She is such a pretty plant. And excuse my pajama bottoms. My grandma got them for me for Christmas. And funny enough, this plant was actually given to me by my grandma. And so that's a really cool thing. They're such hardy plants that you almost can't kill them, okay? So they're such hardy plants that they're really great ones to pass down in the family. Mine, I've had it for a really long time. And my grandma gave it to me when I was just a little kid. Probably any other plant I would have killed. It was my first plant ever, starting out taking care of it, and it was just really forgiving if it got overwatered, really forgiving if it got underwatered, too much sun, not enough sun. I mean, it just put up with it all. And we've been through moves. The cats, last year the cats really tried to kill this thing. They would lay in it and just tear off the leaves, and I don't have cats, but my dad got sick, so I had to move back home with my parents for a little bit to help take care of him. And my parents have cats, and the cats just would not leave this plant alone. So she really got pretty much cut back. She came back fine after we left the cats. I've even just divided her straight down the middle. At one point, I had this spider plant in a bigger pot, and even in that bigger pot it was really root bound, and I didn't want to put it in an even bigger pot, so I went ahead and just pretty much cut it down the middle, made two separate plants, gave one away. And so that's why she's a little bit smaller than maybe some spider plants that you might have seen, just because not very long ago the cats pretty much destroyed her, and then just a little bit before that I had divided her in half. But she's happy, she grows really quickly. It's spring now, so we've got a lot of new growth, and yeah. So let me just give you a few care tips. Basically, this plant can put up with a little too much water or not enough water, but what it prefers is to be watered pretty thoroughly. I soak the soil and then let it dry out just slightly in between waterings. I recently got a water meter, and that thing is awesome. I can tell. I just let her get to dry, and then I go ahead and soak the soil to where the water is running out the bottom, and she does really well like that. I also give her, you don't have to do this, but and I didn't for a really long time, but just this year I've been spraying her, spritzing her with a little bit of extra water to just give her a little bit more humidity. I want her to be really as happy as she can be, so I like to do that. And I do it for my peace lilies anyway, so it's easy just to go ahead and squirt her a little bit too. And then as far as fertilizer goes, I I do repot her every year to every 2 years, so she gets fresh soil then. But this is the very first year that I've ever fertilized her. And like I said, I've had her forever. So I haven't really noticed that the fertilizers made her grow more or made her happier in any way. But I don't know. I was fertilizing my other plants and I thought, well, I'll give her a little bit too. And she seems to have taken it fine. It didn't cause her any problems. But So I don't think you really have to fertilize them, but you do want to at least repot the plant and freshen up the soil. I give her a really high quality, I try to give all my plants a really nice high quality potting soil so they can get nutrients from the soil. And then as far as temperature goes, she does fine indoors. I put her outside sometimes in the shade a little bit, in like indirect light. And she does fine. They will do okay in low light, but they prefer to have bright indirect light. So I try to keep her by a window that has a lot of light coming in, or put her sort of like in a little bit of shade outside during the summer. So my grandma has quite a few of these guys. And this is what my grandma does to take care of these things. All winter long, she keeps them in her basement. It's dark in there, so she just puts them in the basement. They get absolutely almost no light. Like, there's one window, but it's really dark and just like grungy and dirty, so no light really comes through. And she sets them in there, and she doesn't water them like all winter long, so they're just sitting in her basement. And then spring comes around, she takes all her plants outside, puts them in the yard, and then ignores them practically for the entire spring, summer, fall, and until winter comes again and she puts them back in her basement. So she just lets the rain water them, and these things are just like huge and just going crazy. She doesn't even really, I mean, they're probably like so root bound at this point because she rarely ever repots them. It's just crazy how well they do. And it's just so much neglect and they're just thriving. But I guess she has the right environment for them to be able to just sit outside and get enough water and get the right amount of light and everything. But yeah, pretty crazy. One year, she forgot to take them inside before it froze at night. And these guys froze off. So all the leaves, froze and they died back. But in the spring, she puts them back outside again. So over the winter, they just died back because the leaves had froze, so they all just died back. In the spring, she just takes the pots and puts them outside again, and new growth, they just come right back. So they must not have frozen badly enough to kill the roots. But that just goes to tell you how hardy these guys are and how they'll just put up with anything and just give you love back. So I'm not saying you should just completely ignore your plants. I try to take really good care of mine, even though she doesn't require much. But if you want a plant that's going to thrive and just do really well for you, I know it's great to have these plants that are rare and unique, but sometimes they're hard to care for and they don't really give you that much love back for all the attention you have to pour into them. So this spider plant, she just always makes me happy. No matter what we go through together, no matter how much neglect I give her, she's always just thriving. Well, anyway, I hope this video has maybe convinced you to get one of these guys if you don't have one already. They're just such beautiful plants, and they look just really stunning, and they're a really nice showpiece with all those babies hanging off of them. Anyway, that's my spill. So thanks for listening. Just let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you have a spider plant? Do you love it? All right, bye.